Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, brought to you by GamblersWorld.com and also GamblersWorld.net, where you'll find 10 of the greatest handicappers you'll find anywhere on the internet today. That's GamblersWorld.net and our video site at GamblersWorld.com. We got a lot of good things going on, Sean, these days. It's Saturday the 15th. We're working on a Saturday. We're going the extra yard. And without further ado, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Hanging in. 1-1 day yesterday with baseball for me. Had Arizona. I thought they'd pull that out late, but we got blitzed. And then I had Milwaukee. We had the first five here. I did lose with the first five in the chat, but I had them on the Gamblers World site. And that one, so 1-1 day, 18-7 running baseball. So let's just on to the next. On to the next. I wanted to take a light yesterday. It's like we talked on the show. It's like I want to see how these kind of teams respond, right? We talked about the Padres kind of being down. Are they going to rally, or every team got a lot of battles? Milwaukee and Reds. Who had that guy Ashcraft pitching as great as he's been, as bad as he's been?
No.
Right? I mean, the Angels. Ohtani, how's his mind? Will they lose? You had a lot of interesting kind. I got one game up, and I'm looking like it's just one of those days, Ross. It's out of the break. I want to see how teams kind of respond. Are they motivated? Right? As dumb as that sounds, you're making millions, but it's some teams are just kind of dead in the water. Others are like dead man walking. Who's getting traded?
Yeah.
As much as I throw out a lot of action, it's just I don't. Sometimes I got to lean back and be like, okay. Let me see how this plays out before I jump into putting out 5, 6, 7 games.
Well, people should respect that because your MO is to put out a lot of volume. And when you don't, it's not because you're lazy, because your work ethic's the same every day. It's because you're not seeing any value. So people should respect that fact. If you go into it, purchase from Sean, and with the idea, I'm going to get a lot of plays every day. I only need to play $30 or $40 a game and ride it out over the long haul. That's a good theory to have, or a good mindset to have, I should say, going into it with Sean. But there's going to be days that, like he just alluded to, we're coming out of the break and he wants a little more of a look-see. I mean, we discussed this topic yesterday, right, Sean?
Yeah.
We talked about who the teams are coming out of the break that we may see be a good betting value and have underachieved all year long. And as a result, they're a good betting value on occasion. And then there's also the overachievers. Like I mentioned yesterday, Miami, I think you gave an example. I can't remember what it is, and I'll let you join, add the
I don't know if I maybe said like Arizona, maybe perhaps.
Yeah. Arizona, I said Miami, and
Orioles were there. That.
Yeah.
It's and I say this when I do the midday money. I'm like, I just don't like it. It's not like I'm on a 7-20 run. I'm opposite of that, right? So I'm hitting the games, but it's also you look at it, it's like I like this, but is it worth getting involved in that number or price? It's
that's a big thing. Well, me and Sean are similar in the respect that we don't like to lay a lot of juice. Our theory, and I think I could speak for Sean on this, is you want to start laying 160, 170, 180, you could do that on your own. And eventually that's going to bite you in the behind. Now, a lot of you out there have professed that's what you do and you do well. Jesse does that on occasion, but Jesse's a 60% handicapper over the long haul. So don't compare yourself to him, folks.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a decade plus.
The guy's a proven winner, and he's been a proven winner for a long time now. Speaking of Jesse, our third wheel isn't with us today because he's taking his beautiful wife out to dinner, and we're a 12-hour difference, so it's in the evening, right? Saturday evening in Thailand right now. We like to wish her a happy birthday from me and Sean and all of us over here at the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. And folks, friendly reminder, if you have not subscribed to our channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're watching these videos, you're watching this video, if it's for the first time and you're interested in sports betting. This is a podcast. It's not a free pick video. We don't get right to a free pick and in and out in 3 minutes. If you look at the descriptions of our videos on YouTube, for those of you who do have that mindset where we accommodate you by listing exactly when our free picks are minute-wise. Sean's pick, for example, is at 21:35 into the video. So that allows you to fast forward and do that. Those of you who actually want to learn something on a daily basis and be a smarter sports bettor, you're going to watch the duration of the show. So you'll see a WC button, or a WC logo, I should say, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Hopefully we can get that changed just to a subscribe button sooner or later. But in any event, if you click on that, a subscribe button will come up, and click on subscribe, and just in your alerts, make sure you hit the alert bell. And you'll be notified right away when any of our sports betting videos go up on our channel. All right, Sean, Saturday action. Speaking of the Marlins and the Orioles, two teams that you said you think may regress in the second half and may be overvalued, they're matching up against each other today. And Braxton Garrett from Miami, very impressed with him, especially his numbers on the road. And he'll be going up against a struggling Kyle Gibson. That game goes at 7:05 p.m. Eastern time. Right now, as we speak, the Baltimore Orioles are a minus 114 money line favorite, and the total's 8.5. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, Miami's a team. I love the pitching staff. Can they hit enough is always a problem the last couple of years, right? They have the good pitching. Can't get the hitting. You traded Pablo Lopez. You got a Reese in there, a Raz, whoever. The guy's hitting like 390. I'm actually, for this one here, I'm going over the 8.5. Now, I was kind of torn. Baltimore's won 6 in a row. But again, as much as I love my kind of streakiness of teams, coming out of the break where's the momentum? I want to see a little before I jump back into my streaks. I need a couple games under my belt here, because everybody's had 5 days off. And yeah, I see something like that. I'm leery. But Garrett's been a really pretty good lefty. They're 14-4 in his starts this year. Yeah. And they put up runs. I mean, the total's 8.5 here. I've seen 5-3, 5-4, 6-2, 6-4, 5-2, 6-5, 9-6, 7-6, 8 of the last 10. A lot of runs. And he's got 2 other wins under his belt, 2-1 and 1-0. But you see the runs there. He's pretty solid. He's going to give up a few. They score for him for whatever reason. They're scoring runs. Now, his last 2 starts, 5 innings in both. Well, 5 2/3 of 1. 3 runs, 7 hits, 3 runs, 6 hits. I'm thinking maybe he's getting a little tired here. Maybe he had a little dead arm coming into the break. His games and innings basically the same since from last year. Both 17 starts, 88 innings last year, 92 this year. The strikeouts 90 last year, 101 this year. Walks are down 24-15. Hits 86-90. Similar, but now he's kind of pushing a new limit time. So a little fatigue, perhaps. Right? Gave up some runs. Orioles could hit a little bit. So I'm giving them their run count here, like a 6-3 kind of game. But Gibson's been bad. You mentioned struggling coming into the break, or just at home, I should say. 5.19 ERA, 2.90 batting average against. That's not going to get you many wins. Very consistent. And we talk about Jesse bring up the quality starts yesterday. You go 6 and give up. What is it? 6 and 3.
You have to go 6+ innings, 6 or more innings, and allow 3 earned runs
or less,
which qualifies is designated or is termed as a quality start.
So he's a tier below quality, because he's a 5-inning guy who gives up 3 runs, which isn't terrible. But if you're going to go, and like he has, 3-2, 3-3, 5-6, 4-2, that's like 3 runs a game. I basically got 2 guys who are going to go 5, maybe 5 1/3, and give up 6 runs. And let's be honest, one of them's going to give up 5, one's going to give up 3. The bullpens, Miami, Baltimore, great bullpen. I mean, they probably got the best closer in the game right now. Batista pitched last night. Really good. They got 2 good bullpens. They sent 2 guys to the All-Star game out of the bullpen. Yep. That being said, though, 13 left on base yesterday for the Marlins, 18 by the Orioles. Guys are getting on base. I think we'll see some runs. Again, as much as I like Garrett, tough lefty, he's going to give up a few. Gibson will definitely give up a few. I'll go over the 8.5.
All right. Baltimore and Miami, over 8.5. Great breakdown, my friend. And there you go, folks. I went over 8.5 yesterday on the show. It finished 5-2. It happens.
21 left on base, or 31.
Yeah,
13 for Miami left 13. You leave 18 guys on base.
I think I said this yesterday, and I'm pretty sure I said it, Sean, is the problem with the Marlins is Well, I mean, they going into yesterday, they were hitting 324 as a team over their last 7 games with an absurd 370 on base percentage. Here's the issue with the Marlins. As opposed to other teams, they lack power. Other the top teams, I should say.
Yeah.
Soler has hit 22, 23 home runs, knocked in a lot of runs. But, Sanchez on occasion's a good power hitter. But the Marlins need to string a lot of hits together to score. Yeah. And it goes hand in hand to what you just said. So, I'm looking at this from a different angle. Garrett, if you look at his home and away splits, they're drastically different. 9 road starts. The Marlins are 7-2 in those starts. Now, there's nothing drastically different there because they're 14-4 on the year with Garrett. But the difference is ERA at home is over 5.
Yep.
And on the road, 2.14 with the 106 whip. And like Sean alluded to, and this is a key point of where I'm going with this, is he only averages 5.1 innings pitched per start on the road. And that's pretty consistent with what he does at home. So you're not going to get a lot of innings out of him. The Marlins bullpen hasn't been great over the last couple of weeks, even though if you look at their overall numbers, I think you could be deceived. And again, folks, that's why I always say, be careful when you look at any performance line for the entire season when it comes to team statistics. You want to look at and see who's hot and who's not over the last 7 games or so, which is what I like to do, Sean. And, Gibson over the last 4, a 7.40 ERA and a 150 whip. Not very good at all. So, you know what I'm going to do, Sean? I'm going to suggest a first 5 pick on the Miami Marlins. And I believe they're, I don't know, they're probably plus money. I haven't looked, but my mind is thinking, and I'm looking at my notes and listening to you, and to give the folks a little bit different, and rather than both of us being, excuse my French, a kiss ass to each other.
I agree. Listen, I was torn on Miami for the game, Miami first 5, because I think Garrett's a better pitcher.
Yeah.
And I think they win for him for whatever reason. They hit when he's on, he's pitching, whatever. That's a weird how it works like that. Let's be honest. Yeah. You see, we'll talk about like the Mets with DeGrom. That guy pitched there. Every game is 2-1. You're like, what the heck? He's got 12 wins, and then somebody else has got 17 for them because they put up 8 runs a game. For whatever reason, they hit when he's there. It's weird, but yeah, I like it. Probably a pick 'em, right? Probably it's got to be a pick 'em if they're a plus 103 for the game.
It's right around there. So
maybe 101 or something.
Well, good points, Sean. And there's a lot of examples of that in baseball. And you know what? There's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, there's no exact science why some teams or some starting pitchers just don't get the type of run support that the team normally provides other pitchers. And that's one of the cases. So in any event, I'm going to look at,
real fast out of Ross.
Sure.
You think about some really good teams, right? Dodgers had really good teams, right? 100 win clubs, the late 90 Yankees, whoever. You never have somebody go like 25-5. Like you don't see those like Roger Clemens, Pedro, Dwight Gooden kind of years, right? Where you see that just ridiculous 24-4. Yeah, as good as the Yanks were that one year. But somebody won like 21 games for them last when they won 115 games. Like, it's DeGrom. The guy's a 500 record. And
it's like he'd pitch and he goes 8 innings with allow 1 earned run and strike out 12, and he'd lose 1-0, and then the Mets would score 7 runs or more in their next 4.
Today's baseball, you have a sub. Look at the guys on the Twins. Bunch of guys with sub 3 ERAs. Ober, John Ryan, Gray. 2.6 ERA, 4-9. 6-6. Like what you think they'd be 15-2 out of the gate in their 17 starts with a sub 3 ERA in today's baseball? No.
Yeah, you mentioned Ariza and how good he's hitting.
Yeah.
And out of the leadoff spot for the Marlins, and then he came from Minnesota in a trade, and it was for Pablo Lopez, who I believe is pitching today, if I'm not mistaken. Or he pitched yesterday, 1 or 2. But you look at this kid's numbers of late. He's been lights out. He's pitching tonight, Sean?
Yeah. He's been good. I like Pablo Lopez.
Yeah.
I mean, little slow adjustment to American League. I get it.
But the problem is with Lopez is that he's got to be more consistent because he's in a very nice streak right now. But throughout his career, his young career, let's preface that, he's had problems with consistency. So hopefully, as he ages and matures and learns to pitch more, and when I say pitch more, you could throw 100 and not know how to pitch, right, Sean? I mean, you have to know how to move the ball in and out. Change speed, the whole 9 yards. In any event, and Sean, you and Jesse have given out a lot of first 5 inning bets this year, and I tell you, I'm becoming more and more a fan of that option because if you have 2 struggling bullpens or 2 struggling starting pitchers and good bullpens, you could adjust accordingly. And eliminate either starting pitchers or eliminate bullpens out of the equation.
Yeah. Now, it's one of those things where for us, we're used to, we're old school guys. It was, you had a side, you had a total. That's it. There was no halftime, not calling it halftime of a football game. We can't get a first 5. There's no, this team's not going to bat in the bottom of 9th. Or, hey, let's take Justin Verlander to get a win today, and it'll be plus 170 as opposed to laying 130 with the Mets because he needs to get actual win and pitch 6-7 innings. So there's a lot more options, and I think at least I'm trying to get into that more. I mean, listen, you do something for 30 years, Ross, you're kind of set in your ways.
You got to evolve, right, Sean?
Yeah, but I talked about before with the hockey, the regulation bets, kind of like the no betting bottom 9 for the home team.
Right.
It's just eliminating, especially, let's be honest, trade deadline's coming here. These lines that are the Twins laying 230 on the road here, you're going to have a lot of teams laying ridiculous numbers and people are going to want to play it. So I'm going to have to come and be like, all right, it's a no bet bottom 9 because I can't lay 180. 160, 240. I'm not laying those kind of numbers.
No.
You got to adjust to the numbers. It's a wheel keeps spinning. You got to move a little bit.
And to go back to what we were speaking about yesterday in terms of who we think might be a good betting value coming out of the break and who we think may regress. That's right now, folks. We're not predicting teams are going to win the pennant or not make the playoffs with those picks or even make the playoffs. What we're saying is right now, as the roster stands right now, I mean, I said San Diego, right? They come out of the gate and they win yesterday.
Yeah.
But having said that, who knows a month from now if San Diego is still in the standings where they are right now and the Dodgers as hot as they are, they're not sellers at the trade deadline. Who knows if Baltimore, who's right now a wild card team, doesn't make trades and are buyers and improves the roster. So these are all things we need to take into consideration and need to be more specific, and we are when explaining those types of bets. So anyway, the Astros and the Angels is my game, 9:07 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be for the Angels. Where are we here? We're looking at Framber Valdez for the Houston Astros and Reed Detmer for the LA Angels, both left-handed pitchers. The Angels is just falling off the cliff, and some of that seems to be correlated with when Mike Trout went down with an injury. You take that big bat out of the middle of the lineup. They have other issues beside that, but they've lost 6 in a row and 10 of the last 11, Sean. And they've allowed their pitching staff, they've allowed 5 or more runs in their last 5 and 9 of their last 11 games. That's not very good pitching. And when you look at their bullpen statistics, 8.31 ERA and 2.15 WHIP, horrible over their last 7 games. Reed Detmer in his last 3, a 5.51 ERA. The thing with Detmer is his WHIP is good, but he's given up the long ball throughout that stretch. 5 home runs and 16 in the third, Sean. And you look at Houston against left-handed pitching this year, 15-9, and they hit 35 home runs in those contests.
Yeah.
So and that's nothing new at Houston. 58-22, I believe they are over the last 2 years when facing a left-handed starter. Framber Valdez, again, He's one of the finest young pitchers in the game. 2 starts against the Angels this year. He allowed 1 earned run in 15 innings pitched, only 8 hits in 15 innings pitched, and struck out 19 while walking 1. So he's dominated this team, even with Mike Trout in the lineup. And the Houston bullpen's solid, inconsistent. They don't have the best ERA in all of baseball when it comes to bullpens, but they certainly are a top 10 bullpen in my estimation. Houston's off a 7-5 win last night over the Angels. They're now 6-2 versus the Angels on the year. I'm going to go with Houston here, but I'm going to go to the run line, Sean, because I can't lay 145 or 150. That's just not my style, And I look at this and I say, wait a minute, 145, 150, I got to be catching a pretty good number. Well, it's a pretty good number, but not as good as I would have anticipated. And when that happens, a red flag goes up and says, you know what? The sports books aren't willing to give a real good price, despite what the money line is here. Because usually 145, 150, we'd be catching plus 125 or plus 130. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean. You're better at that than I am.
Yeah, it'd be a little more. And how about this? Yesterday, this game was a 125 Houston fave yesterday. Yep. This opened at 125, and then you see them. And again, at Ohtani, I was like, and I probably should have bet Houston because I said in the show, I'm like, where's Ohtani's head? Because he knows he might be dealt, probably going to be traded. Either way, even if he's not, you're going to have stuff going on. You're every day, you're just getting questions and questions, and it's something new for the guy. And sure enough, out of the gate, take another loss. They've been struggling. I like Detmer. So you mentioned his home runs, 11 this year. He gave up 13 all last year.
Yeah,
still a nice little season for the guy. Solid numbers at home. You want to do a Framber like a run line? Sure. Because I'm the guy, right? I say this all the time. If I think the line's 3.5 or 4, I'm gonna take the dog in that spot. Like I'm hoping they lose by 2 or 3. No, you think the dog's gonna win outright? So if you're taking a favorite, why risk the 140? I'd rather go run line.
Yeah.
They're not. How many 3-2 games are there? 4-3. They're gonna hit this guy, and if the Angels are gonna fall off like they have been, right? Would you say they lost 11-12?
What's that? They've lost 10 of 11.
10 of 11.
And their last 6. So,
how do you want to bet on that? You can't bet on that.
No. And you know what? If you watched yesterday's show, Jesse prefaced that matchup that Sean just talked about last night with Houston and the Angels. Wasn't real keen on Ohtani for some of the same reasons that Sean just mentioned. And he also alerted all of you out there to JP France. Is not a household name, but this kid's pitched really good. Decent. And he thought that Houston was a good betting value in that situation. So, as usual, he was prophetic.
And talk about buy on team. Houston has to be that kind of team. As they're in second place now or whatever. And they're not JP France, Hunter Brown, a couple young guys. They're young. They're supposed to be good, but how many young guys are, just because you're a good high draft pick doesn't mean you're going to come in and be great.
No.
Bullpen, question, not great right now. Injuries, a lot of not pitching well. Same with the lineup, but yet here they are. I mean, dangerous team, Astros.
Yeah.
Dangerous. Would they go to 5-6 straight ALCSs?
Yeah.
And
you know what?
That's the team you want to sleep on?
To Sean's point, right now they're without
Yordi's
without
out.
Altuve and your buddy that's the cleanup hitter there, Alvarez.
Yordi Alvarez. I'm going tonight over to Sugarland. Him and I don't know. I think Uquity's pitching today. I'm going to get to see Yordi and Uquity today in Sugarland AAA.
Okay, very good. There you go.
They sent out a memo. Get here early.
Exactly. So anyway, I like Houston minus 1.5 on the run line, plus 118 over the Angels. Sean likes the Marlins and Orioles over 8.5. Sean, tell the folks what you got going on at Picks and Parlays, and also our brand new site that we would ask you people to visit, gamblersworld.net. 10 great handicappers, including us two, Jesse Schewel, Mark Lawrence, Matt Fargo. The list goes on. You all recognizable names, all guys with winning track records, and all guys, with the exception of maybe Rob Vincelletti, that you're going to see on this show through the course of football season. Rob is on our site not because of his prowess on video,
The
because
guy just wins.
he just
The guy's
wins.
ridiculous.
He was #1 at Sports Memo last year, and this next closest guy was 100 units. So 100 units.
You know, and I've never met him, never talked to him.
Right.
You know, and I'm always like, is this, because you see, and you're like, this, he's a real person. It's not like he's some generated guy, like, because he doesn't do a video. No, he doesn't do videos.
The retired New York cop, from what I understand. So
yeah, I knew he worked in New York somewhere in the state or something. But the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he does.
mean, he's
absolutely
for years and years and years. The guy just wins. It's ridiculous.
And my buddy Matt Fargo, who hasn't done a lot of videos, but if you look at his Facebook page, he's as entertaining as they come when he does his own personal videos, not about sports. So I said, Sean or Matt, you're well spoken, you're entertaining, you're funny. He's going to come on with this starting the football season. So a lot of great guys there,
like karaoke and stuff on his channel. What you do?
No, just all kinds of absurd stuff that is absolutely hilarious. If you want to check him out, Matt Fargo on his Facebook page. Great handicapper, though. That's why he's here. Okay. If I wanted a stable of comedians, you wouldn't be happy with the results, but you get a lot of laughs. We want to have some laughs and win at the same time. So in any event, folks, great personalities, all media savvy, and best of all our picks are guaranteed. That if you don't win, whether it be a daily package, single game daily package, multi-game daily package, 3, 7, or 30-day subscriptions, we guarantee them all. You're not going to get your money back if you don't win. But our guarantee is if you don't make a profit according to our grading system, you will be credited the exact amount of your purchase price, and you could use that at any time you wish with any handicapper of your choosing. So if you sour on one guy that you just bought from and you want to look to somebody else who's red hot right now, there you go, folks. That's gamblersworld.net. And don't forget, folks, at the bottom of the page, give us a like. It's just a small token of appreciation for our efforts. And also, folks, if you have not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the subscribe button, the WC button on the bottom of the site or video, excuse me, and join in, man. It's absolutely free. There's no strings attached. Anyway, for Sean Higgs and Ross Benjamin, we like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.